Alexandra Miller is an immigration lawyer and senior advisor at VECINA. It's a legal advocacy group. She's joining us now from Tucson in Arizona. Very good to have you with us. Our correspondent Heidi was just going through some of the issues that have already arisen from these camps. The question, of course, will be what legal rights those being held at the camps are likely to have. Can you just talk us through what is available to them?
Well, it's still unknown. One of the big problems with these detention centers, and in particular these tent city or soft-sided facilities, is that access to counsel remains dubious. This is particularly problematic at Fort Bliss because it's on a military site, and there could be justifications to try to exclude counsel from accessing clients. People could end up being incredibly desperate.
And given the numbers that we're talking about here, I mean, I think it was 60,000 so far that are being held in some form of detention in ICE facilities. One would imagine as that number increases, the number of people needed to process them, well, is also going to increase. But one can imagine that if the one doesn't match the other, the whole process could end up slowing down and people could be there for a lot longer than the government intends.
Oh, absolutely. And it's important to point out that access to counsel was already an issue. Immigrants have a right to seek counsel that they pay, but they do not have a right to free counsel. And that means that already cash-strapped nonprofits who are incredibly thin-stretched have to work way harder to gain access to clients that are in these detention facilities.
And in terms of the alligator Alcatraz, as it's become known, I see that there's a civil rights lawsuit already being brought against that, alleging deplorable conditions that state officials, of course, say that they are denying. In terms of the actual building and the construction itself, what action are we likely to see there? Are we going to see more of that type of action as more camps are rolled out?
Well, you know, I haven't had the chance to go to Alligator Alcatraz, but I have been to detention facilities here in Arizona and Eloy and in Florence, and there already are well-documented accounts of medical neglect, lack of access to adequate food and water, lack of access to counsel, and even deaths or sexual assault and other issues in detention facilities that are more robust brick-and-mortar shops. And so when you're looking at these tent facilities, especially in extreme weather conditions, the human rights concerns are real.
Alexandra Miller, we appreciate you being with us on Al Jazeera, ma'am, and explaining that to us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.